You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the February 4th, 2025 meeting of the LaPorte County Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, I'd like to call the February 4th Park Board meeting to order. Can we have a roll call?
Michelle? Jim?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Ron?
Here.
Mary Here. Nick?
Here.
And Mary Nell.
Okay, can we all stand and say the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The approval of the agenda, there's a change on the agenda on the second page, number 4. Under resolution for transfer of funds to the capital fund is going to be delayed until next month, hopefully. So that can be stricken from the agenda. Anybody have any questions about the agenda or changes to the agenda otherwise? Hearing none, can I have a motion to accept the agenda as amended? And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Approval of the minutes from last meeting. Any changes or corrections?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, then I have a second.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Public comment. Looks like we have a lot of public. So that's good. Okay, hearing no comments from the public at this point, we'll have another time to do that later if there are more questions. Financial reports. Anybody have a question about the financial reports?
So that's you should have gotten a detailed copy of all the individual purchases on that. The one I wanted to mention on the non-reverting sales tax fund, there has been an issue, not our issue, we submitted them. Somehow the Department of Revenue has rejected the payment twice now from December, so the auditor's office and treasurer's office are working through that problem, but we're getting that squared away, hopefully. And as of right now, the reason, well, I'll leave it at that, and we'll talk about the other transferring money later. But obviously, beginning of the year, we've got things look pretty good.
Everything's full.
Yeah, you know how quickly that can change sometimes, but yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Can I have a motion to accept the financial report?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
The individual, the ones we sent you, the individual purchases and stuff is all right here if somebody wants to search that again, so.
Okay, superintendent's report. Jeremy, take it away.
All right, we'll start right off with the Park Service Awards. So every year, the Parks Department gives awards for park service, which can go to an employee or a foundation member, or board member, I should say. Employee or board member that is demonstrated exceptional service. So this year's award, the recipient is not here. Boyd Lomo has been a staple in the Parks Department since May of 1998. Boyd has more knowledge of the LaPorte County parks than I'll ever have. He's been here since '98. He did everything from water lines to building structures. You know, he was involved with almost every building that was built in the parks from '98 on. He came in with a lot of knowledge and gained even more as we went along. Mechanical repairs to monthly water tests and everything in between. Many would see Boyd receiving this award as a token since he retired this year. You know, and as the end of his career, but that's far from the truth. Boyd every single project we've done, every time we turn around, Boyd's in the middle of it. Because of his willingness to try new things or capitalize on his expertise, we're able to perform many tasks in-house that would have been normally contracted out. That being said, due to the cost of many of these items, if they were contracted, they just wouldn't have happened if Boyd and some of these other employees went around. He's always had an interesting outlook on work and tried to make things fun. Always the jokester, always had some kind of idea. He'd always come to my office and say, I got an idea, you know, and sometimes it was serious and sometimes it was hilarious. He actually at home built a little outhouse, and it was called the two-man can. He brought it in, and there was one right on top of the other one, and it, you know, with the open underneath. So those are the kind of things that Boyd would do that just kept things light. Like I said, he always had another idea about any project. Sometimes those were serious, sometimes they're not. But he always, in many ways, he always had the end user in mind. And anybody who knows Boyd knows that, you know, he would get frustrated with some of the patrons sometimes, but in the end, it would always work out good. And he had many good things to say and do for the parks. He's the last full-time employee that was here when I first came in 2015, and he'll be sorely missed. I just hope he doesn't lose his cell phone, because I'm sure we've been trying to call him for many years for advice or just community relief. So, already gave Boyd his award, and wanted to thank that, and we hope he has a great retirement. Second award is Volunteer of the Year for 2024. That award goes to Dave Burke. So Dave, if you come on up. So Dave kind of showed up, and him and his wife actually showed up this year and come and got a hold of us and said that he wanted to volunteer. And we thought, yeah, you know, sometimes that works out to where they just come out once and maybe they show up and do a good job, and then they're not here, you know, after we need them for something else. But Dave just kept showing up. So we started him off, I think we started him off on pressure washing the sidewalks and the deck back here and the deck over at the EDC, and it was just, you know, that's a lot of work, you know, pressure washing for it. But then he decided he'd keep coming back, and he helped us on some painting projects, and he helped us over at Lure with some more pressure washing, and him and his wife both helped us over at Pioneer Days, and so, you know, it was great to have him and his wife, and you know, volunteers are kind of what makes the world go around in the parks, you know, because a lot of times it frees our guys up, or our people up to do other things. So, and just about anything we were to ask, Dave was all about it. And I think at one point he said, I kind of thought you guys were upset with me because you weren't calling me anymore. So, you know, we can find some stuff. But anyway, so thank you, Dave, and I appreciate it. And April, would you take a picture?
If I may, as I told on the phone, I'd be very honored to accept this, but with the condition that what I'm doing this for is the numbers of hours that the boards, the employees as I was working are putting in, and the other volunteers. So I will accept this as long as everybody recognizes that I'm accepting it, to recognizing your donations and the donations of everybody else to keep these parks running and the condition that they're in. And I'd like to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Just 1 second.
Camera on, she's not ready.
All right.
Can't smile that long, And then the last award, I'm going to let April read.
So the last award is for the, do you want me to announce it? Or-
Yeah.
For the LaPorte County Public Library. You guys have done some amazing programs with LaPorte County Parks, and we really appreciate everything you have done this past 2 years since I've been working here. wouldn't be the same. Whenever we do a program together, the community is benefited. The public library provides a wonderful experience with resources like a telescope, and the I think I'm going to say it wrong, ozobots, that show how the sun and planets orbit one another. The public library and the county parks have provided the community with several great programs, like the 2024 eclipse, solar eclipse. We saw 500 people, 200 at Creek Ridge and 300 at Newark, and the only reason I think that we had less at Creek Ridge is because the kids were in school. We had a mobile classroom at Creek Ridge and the library at Newark, and both of those resources without the library wouldn't have been as educational for a program, and a lot of children in the community came to our parks because the library had the mobile classroom, the library. Another program that we started with the library was story time. So this program was where I would bring an animal and they would bring a book, and then we would collaborate on a craft that would kind of reflect the animal. And we always saw our numbers go up drastically when we did a program like that together. When we tried a new Halloween pumpkin carving contest. We had pumpkins donated, 75 from Carlin's, and then the library worked with us, and they read a story. And I think when you provide a book or a story to the public, children can come out and enjoy that. And then we had Lily up on the glow-in-the-dark hike. We had Lily reading books on the hayride, which I thought was really, really cool. The largest event that the library and the county parks partnered on this winter was Santa's reindeer event. We saw 526 people that came through Lure. The library had a live reindeer last year at their main branch, and there just was not enough space to provide an enjoyable experience for the guests. So the partnering with the county parks on this kind of event made it worthwhile to do again. So, if you guys want to leave here.
We used to give these to everybody. If a volunteer wants one, or, but you know, if you don't have one of those as a volunteer of the year, we can get one of those as well. But, so, thank you.
And I just want to say, our partnership wouldn't happen without you in particular. So I definitely appreciate working with you and doing our events together, so for sure.
The ideas they come up with together, just like the reindeer and then the solar eclipse, the solar eclipse was a really cool event. I think, I mean, the number of people that were just out there and enjoying the park during the day, in a 2-hour period or whatever, 3-hour period, we had 500 people in the 2 different parks, you know, so those are things that were great. And even just bringing, I know we even have a homeschool group that uses this park, and, you know, at one point brought the bookmobile out or whatever, and so, you know, just, I think it's a natural partnership, and it's a great partnership. So, thank you very much.
You got it?
And stick around, we got some cookies and lunch if you want to stick around afterwards. Talk. Next, the annual report. All of you have a copy of that. I just wanted to mention a few highlights that are in there. I plan to go to the commission and council meetings too and mention some of these highlights. So the highlights for 2024, we added, the county commissioners gave us 40-acre property in Rolling Prairie that will hopefully eventually be a park. An additional 43 acres adjacent to Bloom was purchased by the DNR and given to us for the DNR improvement project for the wetland improvements and stuff, so that'll be coming in the next couple of years. Improvements to the Grove shelter, roof siding, ceiling, concrete, that was all done by the Park Foundation, paid for in-house, but picked by the Park Foundation. Probably the biggest highlight, I think, in there is that we hit a record on our visitation. We hit over 500,000 this year. And those are through car counters, so those, it's not like we're just guesstimating there, but, so 506,422. So that's a pretty big milestone for us. Brought back our hay rides. We haven't done those since I've been here, so before that, and our 1948 Ford tractor to pull the hay ride. New roof on the EDC and the Canada Lodge. Those were funded by the county council and commission, so thank you for that. New siding, paint, and paint on the nature center. That was finished up this year. Replaced the boardwalk over the wetland at Bloom, and you know, we talk about the programs, but I don't think people realize April and Lacey and Carol was here for part of the year, but 114 public programs for 5,761 participants. So 114 programs is, I mean, when you think about it, there's only 365 days in a year, you know, so we're putting programs out there for a lot of the days throughout the year. So I just wanted to mention that as a thank you to April and Lacey, who's not here, but you guys are doing a good job as well. I a lot of times focus on that maintenance side of things, how many improvements we've done, but the number of programs we're doing, and that's not even mentioning the school programs and things like that, so.
And they are amazing programs.
Yeah. Next, update on the solar panel grant. Everything's been submitted. They had some questions. I'm not sure where that's at. This is supposed to be, as far as I understand, not a government grant. It's a private foundation grant, I believe. So we'll see where that goes. But if we don't get it, we don't get it. We'll see. Electric vehicle grant update. The trucks are built and waiting to roll out. That money is already in the county's coffers, so even if there's a freeze or anything else from other levels of government, we should still be going moving forward on that. So the two electric trucks are built. They're just waiting to get sent out. Trails master plan. We had our initial planning meeting, initial public input meeting. It went well. Actually quite a few people showed up. And then we'll have another one in March, so watch for information on that. We're going to try to do that, in the south part of the county, so if we can try to give the people in the south a little opportunity to give input. Bloom expansion project, I haven't heard much more on that from the DNR, but it's in the design phase, so that's where we're at on that. You have copies of the maintenance and construction report, program report, and part counts in the packet.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Jeremy? Okay. Standing committee reports, executive committee does not have a report, budget committee? Nothing to report. Okay. Personnel committee.
Okay, so in front of you, you have your list of your name and your committee that was either assigned to you or you were given. So Michelle, you can kind of look, think about if you want to keep those, or we can change depending on your needs or wants. Amanda was planning and rules, but change. Just make sure everything is good to go. I know it was sent out before to take a look at it and any changes. But we also have to have a board election. So Ron and Jim have graciously, agreed to arm wrestle. No, I don't know. Over president or vice president, unless anybody else on the board would like to take those positions. So, president, vice president, vice president, vice president, which?
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so, I motion that we approve, or, make a motion that we keep the same officers as, we had from last year.
Okay. That's the motion.
Yeah.
Can I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, the next one is our maintenance technician position hiring, and Jeremy has graciously agreed to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I sent all the applications out to the personnel committee, and Don and I interviewed. We actually had several really good applicants, as we typically seem to. And we settled on Trenton Steele. Trenton has a pretty extensive construction background. He was he had his own business basically, and Don actually worked with him in the private sector before Don came here, so, he's one of those guys that, he's younger, but he's done a lot, and, could build, if we were building those restrooms we've been building, not that we're gonna build another one soon, but, for sure that if Don had to be off, he could say, here's what I need you to do, and he'd be right on it and keep moving. And he's also very willing to do whatever we need him to do. These positions, clean bathrooms, they mow, they weed, they do all that stuff, and he's, fine with doing any of that. So Trenton is, I think it's gonna be a good addition. Hopefully, he's got some big shoes to fill from Boyd, but, it'll take some time for him to get started. He started this week, so.
Thanks, Jeremy. And one last thing, we completed Jeremy's superintendent evaluation in December. And so, thank you for those who completed his survey, and we submitted it to the exec committee and to Jeremy. So, good job.
Okay. Property committee?
Property committee has no report.
Okay. Planning committee?
I'll mention this because Mary Nell's not here, and Michelle probably has no idea yet.
Zero.
Tell us what you know.
As if you've been in the nature center, it's small. And talking with April over the years, there's always been a bigger grand plan for that nature center to expand it and do those kind of things. What I would like to do is try to meet with the planning committee at the nature center and talk about some ideas. The Park Foundation is willing to hear what we have to request. They have some money for the work, and my thought is that we could gain about 400 square feet by doing a couple of additions without having to change roof lines or anything like that, because there's some overhangs there and there's some storage areas that we can store stuff out in the shed or up above the restrooms and things like that. So as long as the board is willing, I'd like to try to meet with the on-site with the planning committee and talk about it, and then next month come back with some plans and ideas and see what you think, and then we can go to the Park Foundation after that and see if they're willing to fund the project.
I think that would be a great idea to look at that.
Because we're limited to, April, how many are we limited to in there for a program? Maybe 15 to 20?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm squeezing 20 people in tomorrow night for the Brush with Madness.
Yeah.
It will do it, but it's a tight squeeze. And for Drum Fit, it's 16.
Yeah.
So beyond that, I really can't.
Yep.
And when we're talking about some programs have 500 people,
Yeah.
how inadequate is that?
Yeah, and we did a breakfast there one time, we had a breakfast, just kind of come to the nature center and had, over 100 people in and out of there, and it was, and not that we even adding 400 square feet is gonna get 100 people in there, but, it just would give a little bit more space for programs, and we could bump those numbers up to accommodate enough people to where we're not turning people away, we're turning people away from programs, so.
And so maybe the planning committee needs to actually have a 1, 2, 3. This is what would be really amazing, and this is what would be okay, and this is what would be adequate.
Yeah, so the idea of this idea would be to expand the existing nature center in a couple areas. All of that can be done in-house with our Don and Trenton and all of our staff. The grand plan, or part of the grand plan was to enclose the Morgan shelter and use that as a classroom type space. That would give a lot of space. This part will just be doing the part to the nature center, not necessarily the big shelter. Now that shelter enclosure would then become a rental on weekends, so it could potentially give us more revenue on weekends, which I believe at our price point, we would rent it just like we rent this. It's almost every weekend, 2 to 3 days a week. So.
Very good. Do we need a motion on that?
No, I'll just work with the planning committee.
Okay. But,
If anybody else wants to come too, they can. But.
okay. Very good. Okay, Rules Committee?
The Rules Committee has no report.
Okay. Old
I would like to mention something on the rules. Because it just happened, and I talked to Steve Hollifield about this the other day. We had one of the marijuana billboard trucks pull into Creek Ridge and park for about a half hour the other day. And it was they called, the crew called me and said, what are we gonna do about this? I found the rules, and we do have a rule prohibiting people from posting advertisements or advertising the park without special permission. So I just wanted to let the board know that this happened, and if they come back, I'm gonna be right there with the rules and probably calling the county sheriff's department and saying, can we get these out of here? And we'll get a hold of the company and say, you tell your drivers to stay out, I don't care if they have to use them. It was right at the time that the school bus pickup or drop-off was, so this is not good, So I just want to let you know that if they continue to do it, I don't know if they just came in and used the bathroom or what, but they were parked there for about a half hour. So we do have rules against it.
We have the rules. Okay, moving on to old business. I don't see any old business. New business, we have some resolutions to chat about. Number one is the resolution to appropriate $217.55 from account 0259 to the one ending in,
They're both.
well, they're the same.
Yeah.
Non-reverting tax fund.
Yeah, so what this is about is at the end of the year in December, you have your sales tax come in, and then we have to pay that in January, and that money is in 2024. So we have to get that $217.55 into 2025, so we're not going in and out of the red all year. It's just it's an accounting thing. But so the resolution was in the signature page for them to sign this meeting, approval from the board to.
Can I have a motion to approve resolution to appropriate the $217.55?
So moved.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. Number two, a request to utilize $35,935 in funds from the non-reverting for the generator.
Yeah, so we desperately need a generator in this building. Our office is sometimes down for, it's been a couple days at times, and then also this rental. Somebody had rain in here on the weekend, and it was 0 degrees outside, and we had no power. It could be a mess. We have about $123,000 in our non-reverting account over the years that we've earned from rentals and everything else, and kind of saved up for projects. My thought is that rather than ask the county for money for this, because part of this is our rental, but a big part of why we do this is our rental, that we would go ahead and pay for this ourselves. The board has different ideas, I understand, but we also, the next item down is a furnace and AC replacement, so we're going to be looking at money for that, and whether we have the money to do it all. But anyway, this request, I think, is just to hopefully get your approval to go ahead and get this generator project moving and go from there.
And
Like a Generac standby?
Yeah, be an automatic, running off propane because we have a
it does show that we have fiscal responsibility. We have the money just sitting there to utilize it for things that will be beneficial to the parks and beneficial to the community and the county in general. Not just the county, but there's people that pass through here and really like our parks.
Well, and that being said too, like, we've had several county issues recently where water pipes froze because, power was out or whatever, so this is not something, we would be in here with, portable heaters of, programming or something, trying to thaw out lines, and we don't want to see that, so this is just something.
I think it's a good move. Can I have a motion to accept the fund request for the generator?
So moved.
And second? All in favor? Ayes have it. Okay, the furnace replacement, AC replacement for this building.
So, this is more just bringing this up until I can, get your feel for it. These units are over 20 years old, and when we have Doug from building maintenance come out and look at them when they're down, he has a hard time getting parts for them. They're outside units, they are not very efficient from what, over time. My thought is that we need to, there's two for this hall, and I think we need to at very least replace one at this time so that we can, first of all, have a reliable unit, and so that we're staggering, so they're not both the same year. We're going to be needing to replace both of them at one time if they both go down within a couple of years. So I think we need to be looking, and I can start researching and I can get with Doug. We don't have to vote on anything, but if you guys are okay with me trying to look into this and getting some pricing together, I'll do that.
It shows that we're proactive. We don't want to have to always have a catastrophe that we have to deal with. So I think that makes very good sense. Okay. And number 5 is the review of the proposal for the vendor for the master plan.
Yeah, so I sent, those were sent out to executive committee and planning committee, I believe, and I'll let you guys have looked them over and,
They're all the same.
Yeah, they're very similar, the cost is the same.
Yeah.
We're working with Antero Group on the bicycle master plan. They're doing it through, as far as you can tell, they're doing a really good job and very, engaging and that kind of thing. So whatever you guys decide is what we'll go with.
And I think there was one of the groups that there was someone that was from this area.
Yeah, so the principal of Antero is he lives in Chesterton area now, but he grew up in Michigan City. Yeah, his mom was very active in the town and stuff too. But so he has a vested interest in making LaPorte in Michigan City, better.
Better. Yeah. Did everybody get a chance to look at those? Pretty much. If you've had them for a while. Then it's okay. Yeah. We've had time to look at them, and like Jim said, they're pretty essentially the same, pretty much the same.
Both of them showed up out there, looked at the site, worked with us, talked to me about it and walked around and that kind of thing.
Say, Antero did work in LaPorte County. How about Marsh?
Evan Marsh has done some work, and we worked with them. They worked on a plan for water catch basin. Basically, it didn't work out because of the location, but and they've done other work in the county as well. Evan Marsh is, I know that Antero was working on the county comp plan as well. That they got the contract for that, so they're working. It works right into our trails master plan and those kind of things. So we're working in the county quite a bit right now.
Okay. Does anybody have a preference, one way or the other?
I do like Antero Group's
Antero group at this point versus the other one. Yeah, I would agree. So can I have a motion to accept the Antero group project proposal? So, and a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Looks like we will accept the Antero group's proposal at this point. Okay, board and staff comments?
If you guys want to talk, you can talk now.
Commissioner Stu Hollifield, Jeremy called me last week, told me about the pot advertising truck. We talked briefly, he took care of it. I brought it up to Commissioner Grammarosa, we concur. You have 100% support from us no matter what you choose to do. They don't need to be here in front of kids. Representative Tressel has sponsored and co-sponsored bills downstate that's going to make it illegal in the state of Indiana, period, for anybody to advertise for those dispensaries here in the state of Indiana. So hopefully by July 1st of this year it'll be done completely. I do have one quick question. It's brought up a couple times in different meetings I've been. With the electric vehicle grant, you're going to be getting a charging station. Is there going to be 2 of them?
So there's one for each of the vehicles.
Okay, so
those
there's
are
4.
private. Yeah, so there's 4 vehicles
4
total.
vehicles.
Parks are getting 2 of these vehicles.
Okay.
And then planning and building commission and soil and water.
So one.
Each of the 4 vehicles will have a private charger for that vehicle.
Okay.
Fleet vehicle. I mean, we could probably go and plug in at their location. They can probably plug in at ours, but and then we're also getting a public charger.
That's the question.
And I actually sent that to you guys
Okay.
asking, and I actually heard on Sound Off today that somebody was saying we need more public charging stations in LaPorte. So I'm like, that can go anywhere. It can go in the parks, or
Okay.
it could go in LaPorte. So we can work through that.
Yeah, because the city of LaPorte's got a couple already, so I think we can make sure we put them so they're not competing with each other, and then will the Parks Department receive the revenue from those?
It could go either way. I mean, if it was in the parks, I was assuming, yeah, we go into our crime averting funds, but if it goes in town, we can.
Great. If you need assistance, then I'll help make the motion that you guys continue that, the revenue in case you're in the park, because like I said, you're doing a great job with the furnace and the generator, and just want you to know that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Any other comments? Okay. Can I have a motion? Go ahead.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful job. You saw one of these from 10, 15 years ago, come a long way.
Yeah. I have them from 15 years ago, and trust me.
We had some struggles with it, getting it to print like we wanted, but it was, I told them, they said, well, we can stop using that program. I said, no, I love it, but we just got to figure out how to, this first year or so that we use that program for it, so it turned out really good.
Great job.
Good luck to the board.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, any other comments?
Cookies and punch back here. Please, hang around if you want cookies and punch, or just take some to go, but that was to celebrate the award winners. And
Because Jeremy has to eat all of them before you leave.
I'll help you. I also wanted to mention our new member, Michelle Brady, so everybody has met her, I think, up here anyway, so everybody else say hi, please.
Yeah, this is the longest meeting we've had.
Since I've been here.
Yeah.
Maybe when Tim was here.
Oh, yeah, with Tim, we had also.
What's that? Oh, yeah.